Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? What we're going to talk about right now is a requested video of how to prepare your family and your home for winter. You know, it doesn't seem like very long ago that we were asking ourselves, when is this heat going to go away? Well, now is the time to start to be prepared for stormy, wet, and cold weather because it is essential. One way to make sure that you are ready for harsher weather conditions is to stock up on specific items that can come in handy. And you wouldn't want to get stuck at home without power, food, or reliable source of water, right? So it is best to be prepared with the right items before the next, big winter storm arrives. If the snowstorm and the terribly cold weather in Texas taught us anything, is that weather is extremely unpredictable, and taking preventative measures makes the most sense. So today I want to reinforce the idea of organizing your winter prepping materials, opening up all of your boxes of your items that you may have purchased for preparedness, and begin practice using them. What you have acquired may not come in a box. It could be weather stripping for your doors, insulation that has to go up in the attic, storm windows for that add-on room, emergency heating, etc. So please locate all of your extra batteries for your flashlights for each family member that you should have, and store them in one place so that you can find them and use them when you need to. So some basic items that I suggest are warm gloves, hats, scarves, mittens, snow boots with warm wool socks, snow shovels if it snows in your area, window scrapers, snow, ice melter, and bags of sand for traction, car jumper cables, snow blower if applicable with, fuel as well. Wood for your fireplace or your wood burning stove, and a good first aid kit. So let's talk about water. All right. Be sure to buy packages of bottled water while it's on sale so that you can have a lot of it available in your home. And if you end up without a water source due to harsh and damaging storms, having as much water as possible can help. You can use the water for drinking, washing, brushing your teeth, cooking. It doesn't mean that you need to rush and buy as much water as you can possibly find. Just pick up each time you go to the store, like a gallon or a case of water or whatever the case may be, whatever is within your budget. But what's even better is that if you start purchasing like long-term water storage containers, I know they're expensive at first, but so is bottled water, right? And also don't forget to purchase some water preservers so you only have to rotate out the water every 5 years. Now, remember, if you use bleach, please use unscented bleach, and it needs to be rotated every 6 months. And also, please keep in mind that water is the number one thing that you need for survival. So stock up as much as you can. You'll be grateful in the end. So the next thing is to always stock up on non-perishables. You're going to want to have that can of food or your non-perishables, your boxed food, and make it last, especially if you get snowed in and you can't leave your home. Besides, you may not be able to get to the store. It's for this reason that you should buy plenty of canned goods or boxed goods, and for your storage space, of course, and also your finances. Canned goods tend to have a longer shelf life than other products, but you can find all different kinds of canned goods like veggies, fruits, soups, meats. I mean, sure, they, may not be your favorite food, but, also sometimes they don't taste the greatest either, but they're good to have. when you're in a difficult situation. And you could stock up on your non-perishables for your family to eat in emergencies by grabbing these items while they're on sale, and have other family members shop with you so you can get their input regarding desired items that they might want to eat too. And if you have a pantry and then, like you can't even fathom leaving beans off of the list, beans are a staple in so many ways. They're also one of the cheapest items that you can buy to store and stockpile in your pantry. My advice is to stock up on beans, all different kinds. Put them in your pantry for this winter. They are fantastic for nutrition, really great source of protein, and they tend to give you that feeling of being full. Now, whether it's oatmeal or quinoa, wild rice, couscous, whatever else comes to mind, you will need grains in your pantry. Grains will keep you going, and they also help you feel full. And so when you're at the store the next time, even if you're just going to the dollar store, try and stock up on some grains that are on sale. Two of my personal favorite items are nuts and seeds. Stocking up on these items is not just a good idea to fulfill your nutrition needs, but nuts and seeds are also very tasty. You don't have to buy the super expensive ones either. You can just buy what's on sale. But also keep in mind that nuts are oil and they will go rancid quickly. So store them in your freezer to be safe. Some of the really great nuts that we like are almonds and peanuts, pumpkin seeds, pine nuts, especially if you're going to be making, any kind of a sauce like a pesto sauce, pine nuts, walnuts and pecans, okay? Just a few to throw out there. One thing that you can't forget this winter for your pantry is oils of various kinds. It's truly fascinating how many different oils are actually available right now. And you can easily buy them and store them in your pantry for the winter, but also keep in mind that there is no right or wrong oil to have in your pantry. Choose one that fits your budget, that your family enjoys, that you enjoy cooking with. You've got sesame oil, canola, olive, veggie, and coconut oil too. A favorite to have in the pantry is nut butter. You can truly find a ton of different nut butter options to store in your pantry. My favorite nut butter is honey roasted peanut butter. However, stock up on whatever nut butter or seed butter that you'd like. Smoothie peanut butter, crunchy peanut butter, almond butter, sunflower seed butter, cashew butter, coconut butter, walnut butter, hazelnut butter, or hazelnut butter is also referred to as Nutella. So when you are trying to stock your pantry for winter, you may be wondering what else to stock up on. Well, learning how to stock up on proper items means that you know what will go into your pantry and keep safely. Let's talk about pasta, vinegar, dried fruits, sugars, spices, herbs, potatoes, canned soups. All right. Now, if you have a pet at home, which a lot of us do, make sure you're thinking about your pets when stocking up for the winter also. Again, if you can't get to the store for groceries, you're not going to be able to get pet food. So grab your dog food, your cat food, the litter, the treats, if you have birds or whatever the case may be, stock up on their food. And please remember, you need water for your pets as well. And you need about 1 ounce of water per pound for your dog each day or for your pet each day. If your dog weighs 10 pounds, you're going to need 10 ounces of water a day. Okay. So now let's talk about packing plenty of heavy blankets and comforters in your home. While you probably already have blankets in the bedrooms, right? It's a good idea to have maybe just like 1 or 2 more for each bed that you can use for an emergency. And it's easy to store these blankets in a storage container or a bag until you're ready to use them, and keep them from taking up too much space as well. If you end up in a situation where you don't have heat, you will get cold in your house during the winter months. And the best way to combat the cold is to stay in a room with the rest of your family while piling up the blankets and the layers of clothes. And you don't want any family member to experience frostbite or hypothermia when their body temperatures get too low. So when selecting the best blankets to use, consider options like thick layers or coverings made of fleece material because of how warm they can make you feel. You might also want to invest in a sleeping bag, but if you have lots of blankets, use those too, okay? So now a hot water bottle is a great way to stay warm all winter long without spending a lot of money, and just filling up the hot water bottle, placing it under your covers before going to bed, it'll keep you warm all night. So now let's talk about the fact that it pays to have a portable generator in your home. It's something that you can use when you don't have heat or electricity to get the heat and the electricity that you need. If you have a heating blanket or a heating pad or anything like that you're going to want to use to keep warm, that's when your portable generator will come into play. Now, you don't want to get stuck in a dire situation that leaves you feeling cold, hungry, and miserable. While a portable generator does cost money, the initial investment is worth it because you could put it to good use in times of need. So for places that have a lot of ice on the roads, all right, rock salt is essential for melting ice and keeping your sidewalks and your driveways clear and free of dangerous slick spots. Some winter warriors know that over time, salt and commercial de-icers harm the concrete. Okay, they'll leave like little pits in the concrete. And it's tough to clean the concrete with your hose to protect the concrete from those cold winter days. So if you live in a cold climate, you may want to consider having your concrete that is subject to snow and ice to be professionally sealed so the moisture and the chemicals, they don't get into the porous concrete surface. And now if an ice storm is part of your winter challenges, I would be sure to be getting that concrete sealed, since it's also acts as like a really great water repellent in many cases as well. So now let's talk about cooking. Okay, you're probably wondering why you would need a cooking stove or a camping stove when you're not going anywhere, right? Because you're snowed in. Well, the camping stove can come in handy if you're without power during the cold winter months. If something happens and you don't have power, it's crucial to be able to have ways to prepare food for you and your kids. And these stoves are designed for indoor use. So make plans for a location where they can be safely put to use and you don't have to worry about carbon monoxide poisoning. And you might want to, think about using your barbecue, because you may want to think again, you cannot bring that thing into the house, okay? I mean, when you do cook with it outside, it does use a lot of fuel just to boil water, okay? So I would steer clear of kerosene heater, kerosene stove. They have been known to be especially risky, particularly if people ignore the warnings and use them indoors. Please don't ever use those things indoors, okay? Now, for those of you that have a wood stove or a fireplace and don't plan on going the generator route, the stockpile of wood would be an absolute must to keep your family warm if the power ever goes out. So butane stoves, that's an excellent option as well. It's portable. It provides enough heat to warm up different meals, whether you're cooking a soup or a stew or mac and cheese. But remember, the pan that you use on your butane stove cannot ever hang over the burner, okay? You can boil water, make soup, make beans, and so much more with these darn things, but make sure your pot is not too wide for that burner, that butane stove, okay? It's worth buying and storing somewhere in the house because you never know when you're going to need it. And you may even get to like help your neighbors if they're dealing with loss of power and could use some assistance as well. And it's a good idea to start stocking up on the essentials for winter as early as possible just to get a head start. And you can catch many of these items on sale and to get the best deals on them before you start stockpiling them. If you know what to buy and add to your home, you can keep yourself and your loved ones safe and comfortable and protected if the winter weather, gets unpredictable and now you're stuck and you have no way to keep warm, no way to, cook anything because you have no power. And that situation just may arise. So you got to always be prepared for these things. Also, stock up on your OTCs. Be ready, if you need them, especially if we have little ones and the cold and flu season is here and oh my gosh, we're snowed in and the baby has a fever. Oh, you know what I'm saying? So keep the OTCs, especially for the little ones, stocked up. So now let's talk about snacks. Stock your pantry with healthy SNICK snacks like popcorn, candy, chocolate, even junk food if you want to. I mean, who cares? You know what I mean? If you're going to be snowed in, you might as well enjoy it. Because, if there's an unforeseen snowstorm and you're snowed in for 2 to 3 weeks, I'm going to want my peanut butter M&Ms. You know what I'm saying? It's all about being prepared, right? But also comfortable too. I've always stressed to prep for normalcy, always. So how can you better prepare your house for the winter? Well, how about insulating the pipes in your exterior walls so they don't freeze? Caulk around your windows and your door frames to keep the cold air and moisture out and warm air in. If you have a fireplace, make sure your chimney and your flue are clear and free of buildup and debris. Get some covers for your windows to help block any cold air that may come in through poorly insulated windows and window jambs. Even if you get like the curtains that I have, they're called blackout curtains, but they're thermal blackout curtains. They keep the heat out and the cold air in, and they also keep the cold air out and the heat in. You know what I mean? So, are they a little on the expensive side? Sure, but they're well worth the purchase. They really, truly are. So now let's talk about your car. I suggest finding, a good mechanic that you can trust. The name of my mechanic is in the description box below. So if you ever have any questions for him, even if you live out of state, just give him a call, okay? But if you go to your local mechanic or an auto dealer, make sure you check the following to make sure they're in good working order, like your brakes, your antifreeze, your heater and your defroster, your exhaust system, your battery, and your ignition system, okay? If you live in an area where it snows regularly, winter tires are a must. They provide better traction and handling in snowy and icy situations, which means you are less likely to get into an accident. I know some places that require snow tires and even chains in some areas like the canyons where people go skiing. My point is, check your tires before you take an extended drive somewhere or on a road trip anywhere, okay? For your furnace and your heating system, pick up a few extra furnace filters and store them where you will see them and be prompted to remember to change them as needed. Now let's talk about outside. Your garden hoses. With this time of year, you need to cut down on bushes if required and rake out all of the leaves from the fall. It's also perfect time to fertilize your lawn, your trees, your shrubs, and prepare your garden for next year, okay? And make sure if you ever get into a deep freeze and you have a pool, please run your pool system because you don't want that to get iced over. Also, when we have deep freezes and they say, make sure your spigot is dripping, at a slow drip, also do that with your outside hoses because you don't need that pipe to freeze and burst. smoke alarms, carbon monoxide alarms. Check those batteries at least every 6 months to make sure that they're good to go. Humidifier, those are good to have in the winter months with the furnace running so much. You need a little bit of humidity depending on where you live, and you may need to use distilled water to help protect that dehumidifier. It's a good idea to have a humidifier if someone is sick with the cold or bronchitis or pneumonia. The humidifiers, they're Vicks, and then you could put the Vicks Vapo Rub in them, like one of those. But I mean, of course, you must decide if a humidifier is good for you and yours. So the last thing is a family communication plan. Sometime before the end of the year, no pressure or anything, but please make sure you have together a plan on how you will communicate with each other in a power outage. Now, I'm talking about friends, family, neighbors, whatever. Write down all of their names, phone numbers, and emails and addresses so that they are available when you need to contact those that you care about. If your phone with all of your contact information that you use cannot be charged, at least you will have everything written down with all of the information on it so you can use some other form of communication options. Okay? All right, guys, I'm out of here. I will see you in the next one. You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping, and as always, fearless. Ciao.